Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys.
I think that Matt Rule just does not have a clue on how to run an offense.
Luke Getsky should be fired. He should be fired today.
I'll stand by you. My God, bro, you got smoked.
Welcome to FaZe Fantasy Live with your host, Lonnie Z.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Lonnie Z, and this is FaZe Fantasy Live. Welcome to the show, everybody. You know, we are so excited that the 2024 football season is right around the corner. We already had our first week of preseason games, and we've had our share of injuries, drama, and all kinds of stuff, from trade rumors to everything going on in the off season. We're going to try and get you all caught up today. We're going to really talk about injuries today. This is going to be a short podcast. We're going to have another one tonight where we're going to break down our favorite quarterbacks and list them in order so we can get you ready for your draft. We know that the drafts are coming up. They're going to be here. Some people have drafts this weekend. Some have the next. You know, hell, I know some guys who have drafts every single weekend up till week one. You know, they're in a lot of leagues. But I'm only in 2 leagues so far, and my drafts are the 25th and the 26th, or 24th and 25th, one of those two. But we will be ready. Let's get into some injuries right now. Today was a crazy day. Jordan Addison of the Minnesota Vikings was carted off, and they said he caught a pass. He went up for a pass, and he was real wobbly when he came down. They had to cart him off of the field. And that was just after the news came out about J.J. McCARTHY. As you all know, he tore his meniscus over the weekend, and they thought it would only be 4 to 6 weeks. But after they went in and did surgery, they found that they had to do a repair, and he is out for the season. So that kind of hurts the Vikings. That's going to really make them have to figure some things out. Sam Darnold was already set to be the starter, but they're going to have to figure out the number 2 because JJ looked really, really good. He looked solid in the preseason game. So we'll have to see. Also in the injury news, today Mark Andrews was involved in a car accident, but it appears he's okay. No real injuries. He actually went into his team meetings after the accident happened. So I don't think there's much going on there, but we just want to let you know to keep your eye out on that. We cannot afford to have someone like Mark Andrews hurt before the season starts. There's already not enough tight ends, right, for fantasy. So that would be a real big deal. I am glad he is okay, and it was just something really, really minor. Other big news, Ja'Marr Chase. Ja'Marr Chase missed practice yesterday for the first time this offseason. And people were speculating, thinking that maybe he's injured or whatever. But Coach Zach Taylor came out yesterday and he said that it was something that they were going to have to monitor day to day. Rumors have it that Ja'Marr Chase wants to get paid, and he is just not willing to get out there and continue practice if he does not get paid. Now, he had not participated in any of the camps. He had been there, but he'd been kind of watching. He wasn't participating. And so now he's not even showing up. And Coach Zach Taylor didn't offer any more details today about it. But we're going to have to see how this plays out, because I think they just need to pay the man. You have to pay Ja'Marr Chase. There's no reason that you don't pay Ja'Marr Chase. It doesn't make any sense. I know that he's still on a rookie deal, and I know he signed that deal as a rookie, and he should, honor that and all that. That all sounds good, but when it comes down to it, these guys, we're seeing guys get hurt. And a lot of this money in the NFL isn't guaranteed. They're starting to get better now about guaranteeing some money, but the truth is they need to pay this man. Ja'Marr Chase is an elite, and he needs to get paid for sure. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it at all. In Cleveland, the big news is Nick Chubb. They say he still has a little ways to go, and they're not expecting to see him until late into the season, if he comes back at all. You know, Nick Chubb is just an incredible running back, and the injury he suffered last year was horrible. So I'm hoping that he's able to get back out there this year, but from a fantasy perspective, I'm not sure what his value would be. You just have to wait and see. I don't think he's going to be drafted too much in normal drafts. Somebody might pick him up in the last round or later rounds and put him on their bench, but we're just going to have to wait and see what's going on with Nick Chubb, because, you know, he's an integral part of that team. And without him, they really, really suffer in the running game. News coming out of Detroit says that Jahmyr Gibbs, he left Monday's practice early due to a hamstring injury. They're saying that it's not anything serious, that he shouldn't miss any time. But, you know, hamstring injuries can be kind of tricky. A hamstring injury is what kept Cooper Kupp out of the first 4 games of last season. So keep your eye on that. That's really huge, especially because a lot of people have Jahmyr Gibbs in their top, 4, 5, 6 running backs for fantasy. And if that's you, if you're thinking about taking him in the first round, you need to really, really monitor his hamstring and make sure he's okay. Also, out of Detroit, Sam Laporta is dealing with the hamstring injury. So you better keep an eye on that too. He probably won't play tomorrow night in the game. So keep your eye on Sam Laporta. Keeping with the tight ends, TJ Hawkinson. He's recovering, they say ahead of schedule, but he's definitely not going to be there available for week 1. And he could miss anywhere from 3 to 7 regular season games. So if you're drafting a tight end and you're thinking, oh, TJ Hawkinson, he's there, pump the brakes, because I really don't, he had like 3 things going on with his ACL tear, and he's ahead of schedule, but I would be real careful coming into this season, drafting players that are coming off of injuries. Sometimes we get so aggressive and we keep that name in our head, like even Justin Jefferson, who had a bad hamstring injury last year. He recovered and finished the season. But what's he going to do this year? We haven't seen him play yet. His quarterback play is going to be up in the air. I think Sam Darnold will be all right, but you have to just be really careful when you're drafting some of these guys. It looks like Alvin Kamara is holding out. He's, it says that he's holding out due to back stiffness, but Kamara wants a contract restructure too. He's not happy. And so he's saying that his back, well, I'm not saying he's saying, but what's coming out of their camp is he's having back stiffness. That's what Dennis Allen said. So we're just going to have to see how that goes, but keep your eye out on Alvin Kamara. These players, they put their bodies and their life at risk every time they suit up. And so when they want to hold out for more money, I know it's easy to say they signed the contract and that's what they need to honor. I get it. But when you're watching someone else who's a less player than you make a lot more money than you just because of, inflation and the way that contracts are set up, it can get to you. So a lot of these teams are going to have some really, really serious conversations with their upper brass to find out what they want to do with some of these guys. Coming out of the Rams camp, this is a pretty important one. There's a couple things going on. One, Cooper Kupp is hell-bent on coming back and getting his triple crown. Yards, touchdowns, receptions. He says that if he didn't believe that he was still that same guy, he wouldn't be playing anymore. So all reports coming out of camp are that he looks phenomenal, that he is ready to take back that number 1 role, and that there's nothing going to stop him from doing that. Well, there's nothing but Puka Nacua. Now, Puka Nacua, he has a knee injury, And Coach Sean McVay came out and just said that it's really nothing. He should be ready for week 1. And it was a bursa sack that kind of burst, what McVay said. And I don't know what the bursa sack kind of burst means, but obviously to him, it doesn't mean much. But I would really keep my eye on that one. Puka Nacua is going way ahead of Cooper Kupp in these drafts, way ahead of him. So you may want to reevaluate that, or if you're smart, maybe you could still Cooper Kupp a little bit later if he takes a dip, pick him up. Personally, I still believe in Cooper Kupp. I think he still has what it takes to be an elite wide receiver. That's not to take away from Puka Nacua, because I think he's going to be a dynamic receiver too. But if I had to bank on one of the two, I would still lean towards Cooper Kupp. I've seen him do it, and I know Nacua had that awesome rookie campaign, but I would always bank on Cooper Kupp. Coming out of the Giants camp, Malik Neighbors had suffered an injury and to his ankle in practice the other day, but he said there's no doubt that he'll be able to play in the season opener. He's saying it's nothing serious, just a little sprain, and they found out that it wasn't after they had an MRI and x-rays, it revealed that the rookie first round pick has indeed avoided a serious injury. And that's huge, because this player is a dynamic player. He should be on everyone's radar as a receiver to go out and get, and don't wait too long. His game really translates to the NFL, and Daniel Jones is coming back. So we're going to have to see how they're going to work together. But Malik Neighbors, keep your eye on that situation. Hopefully it's something really minor and he gets past it and he'll be fine. On another note, in Indianapolis, Josh Downs had an MRI this week, and he suffered a high left ankle sprain. And those high sprains, they can linger on for months and months. So keep your eye on Josh Downs. That's going to be a real crucial one right there. You have Anthony Richardson coming back, and you got Pittman. And so Downs is the number 2. If he's out, that puts Alec Pierce in more play. And we'll have to see. Alec Pierce has kind of had a disappointing career after all the hype his rookie season. Everyone hyped him up and said that he was going to be a great, wide receiver, but that just hasn't happened. So keep your eye on that situation with Josh Downs in Indianapolis. Marshawn Lloyd, man, he had a really good rookie debut. He had one rush for 8 yards, but he looked really solid. And it looked like he was really going to contest A.J. Dillon for that number 2 spot in Green Bay. But Coach Matt LaFleur declined. He declined to give a timeline for the rookie's return or provide any, details to reporters after the injury. But it is a hamstring injury. And so we're just going to have to see. I doubt if we'll see him play this week. But, he's suffering from a hamstring injury. And that could have saved A.J. Dillon, because rumors were going around that Dillon was going to be cut, that the Packers were going to cut because Lloyd looked so good in practice that they figured that, A.J. Dillon was disposable, but he lives to run another day, I guess. Dak Prescott from the Cowboys is trending in the right direction after sitting out Sunday's preseason loss to the Rams due to sore ankle. So he should be okay. All reports are saying that Dak's going to be fine and he'll be there for week 1. He probably won't play much, or if at all, anymore in the preseason though. Out of the Panthers camp, the Panthers, they drafted Jonathan Brooks, which is a dynamic running back. And he was probably the best running back coming into the NFL out of college this year from Texas. He was the 40th pick He was a 46th pick overall in the draft. Last November, he tore his ACL in college. And so he's been rehabbing the whole time. Reports are saying week 3 to week 4 that he should make his debut. Like I said before, these torn ACLs, they're kind of tricky. The rehab is tricky. He's trying to rehab in the NFL now instead of in college. Once he hits the field, he's going to have to, feel comfortable with it. So I probably, with Jonathan Brooks, had he not been injured, he would have been an easy top 5 round draft pick for fantasy. Easy. Because he would have competed and probably come right in and taken over the running back duties from Chuba Hubbard. But with this injury, you have to kind of pump the brakes. I would probably draft him anytime after the 8th round and then sit him on my IR and just wait and see how that all plays out. I think he's going to be available and probably really getting his stride second half of the season, like week 8, 9, or 10. But keep your eye out on Jonathan Brooks and see, how that's all going to play out. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, man, it seems like this guy can't catch a break in his career. He's always hurt. Something's always wrong. Well, he dislocated his shoulder and there was some damage in there, and he's expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. And the Chiefs were really excited. Chief Nation was excited. They were thinking, our Chiefs Kingdom was excited. They were thinking, that they finally have someone that can give them a little bit of what Tyreek Hill gave them, that stretch the field guy that can really play and run. And they'll have that at some point this year, but they're going to have to look for Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, the rookie out of Texas, to fill the gap right now, because Hollywood Brown they were really counting on him to be that number 1 guy. And so with him down and getting injured, they're really going to have to lean on the second-year player, Rashee Rice. Hopefully Rashee Rice doesn't get a suspension for some off the field stuff that he got caught up in earlier this year. So we'll just have to see how that all plays out too. And the last guy that I want to talk about is Mike Williams. Mike Williams was limited to individual workout at Thursday's practice and won't take part in team drills for another week or 2. And Coach Robert Saleh said Thursday that Williams, who came off the active PUP list on last Wednesday, is a lot further ahead than they anticipated. That's good news. If Mike Williams gets on that field with Garrett Wilson and you got Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball, that's a pretty nice little weapon package that Rodgers has there. So keep your eye on that. That should get you all caught up on the injury front. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.